Welcome, everybody, to the Ogden Way podcast. I'm Ogden City Mayor Ben Nadolski, and we are here to talk about the stories of Ogden by telling the stories of Ogden's people. And today we're going to tell the story and hear the story of Sara Mejeur, a good friend of mine. Welcome, Sara.
Thanks for having me.
No, we're happy to have you. So Sara is a person that I've always admired, not only because of your kindness. You are someone that exudes kindness and love. You are a caring person. Everybody that interacts with you feels that way.
Thanks.
But you're also a person that steps up. You lean in, you roll up your sleeves, and you use the love and kindness you have for others to help others.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've always admired about you.
Thank you.
So thanks for doing that for us and for Ogden.
Yeah.
And thanks for being here today.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yep. So for people who don't know you, you're from Michigan. I
am.
Right?
Yeah.
One of
Michigan.
One of many Michiganders in Ogden.
Yeah, there's a lot of us here. We're like, ooh, sunshine, mountains, same 4 seasons, a lot of snow.
Lots of snow.
A lot better than the gray.
Right?
Michigan. Yeah.
I know.
Sorry, Michigan.
Nothing against Michigan, but Utah's better.
But it's better. It's okay.
Yeah. So as you know, I came from Arizona, and there's a sentiment amongst a lot of people about like, don't tell anybody about Ogden.
I know. I'm like, stop telling them.
I know, right? They're like, it's Utah's best kept secret, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
But also the thing that makes Ogden special is that we are not all the same.
Yeah.
And so having people from outside contributes to the fabric of who we are as well.
Absolutely.
And so hopefully we'll consider that. I think everybody does for people that come from the outside. But you have certainly brought your gifts and talents and kindness from Michigan to Ogden.
Yeah, that Midwest nice fits in pretty well.
Oh, right. Midwest nice.
Yeah,
there you go. Oh, that's what it is.
That is.
So you're not that special. It's just everybody.
Nope, it's everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
So we often hear, and I'll just want to start by asking you how you felt when you came to Ogden, because we often hear that we're a welcoming city, and we believe that we are.
Yeah.
Did you feel that when you moved here?
100%. It's pretty wild because when we were coming, we could have lived anywhere in Utah. And so we adventured kind of everywhere just to kind of find where our place would be. And initially, Ogden was not on our list. We're like 90,000 people. That's way too big. Like we've always loved like our small town adventures that we've had, like population 5,000, because we could be involved and we knew all of our neighbors and there was things to do and our kids had good friends. And that's been like the biggest surprise is that Ogden was our place, even though it was like the only place we had like ruled out because of its size, because it feels like that population 5,000.
So did you visit here before deciding to move here?
Yeah, we did.
And you felt that way?
Yeah, like even in like the grocery store, which is really funny. Like you're at the grocery store in normal places, you just walk by people and move along. And if you're looking at something, you're just looking at something. But even here, people are like, oh, well, that's my favorite thing. Or we tried that. Or like if people are like chatting with you. If you say, oh, how are you? They tell you.
Right.
Like, so it was like that. It was definitely the Midwest nice, only like extra, which I didn't think existed. So
it's O-Town nice.
It is.
Right?
O-Town nice.
O-Town nice.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it.
We're O-Town nice in Ogden, USA.
Yeah.
Right?
I love it. That's perfect. Yeah, it was awesome. And we were nervous. Like my husband and I, we both were going to be working from home moving here. And so we knew we were going to have to find some groups and get involved. And it was pretty instantaneously.
Well, good. And and I know that you and I have mutual friends in the Furtons.
Yeah.
Jeff and Beth Furton, right?
Yeah.
And so you guys actually are neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And coincidentally, they're from Michigan.
Yeah.
So how did you end up meeting the Furtons?
So I met the Furtons actually through the Goal Foundation. So talking about like needing to find a group, we were searching on Facebook for like groups. And so we just typed in Ogden, and Ogden Pub Runners popped up. And we were like, they like to run. They like to drink beer. I think these are going to be our people. At least we were hoping they were. And so we went and we actually met people from the Goal Foundation that night. It was their end of year party for the pub runners, and Goal was being honored as Community Partner of the Year. And I was like, what's Goal? Tell me about it. So I met like we call them the Goal gals, like all of us gals that have worked at Goal or been a part of Goal. I met them that night. Like we had been here 2 weeks at that point. We all became friends, and that's how I got introduced to the Goal Foundation. And they let me know, like, hey, we have a job opening next week. You should apply. And I was like, oh, I only know about half of that stuff, but maybe I can get on YouTube and learn the rest, right?
Good job.
I did.
Yeah.
School of YouTube.
That's actually how men think too.
I'm like, I'll figure it out.
Like, I'll figure it out.
I
right?
have that mentality, luckily.
Okay, good.
And so I was hired, and that night, or like not that night, but before I started, they had like their end of year Christmas party and board mixer, and I met the Furtons, and they were from Michigan, and we instantly bonded. My husband wasn't there, but I was like, I just met our new best friends. Oh my gosh, you're gonna love them! Like, and he was like, cool, but I was right.
Next thing you know, you bought a house across the street.
In the canyon, and
Canyon people, canyon friends.
Crew. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make the joke that that's how men think. My wife's always, my wife Janie.
Yeah, of course.
And she's always saying, quit thinking that you only know 9 out of 10, so you're not going to apply.
Oh,
Men only
like
know 1 out of 10 and they apply.
And they're like, got it.
Yeah. So
I think I was at like 6 out of 10. I was like, I feel like I could figure out the other 4.
100%.
Yeah.
You always do. You in particular always do.
Yeah.
So it's funny you said goal gals.
Oh yeah.
I've got goal guys.
You got
right?
goal guys? Oh.
Well, we have goal friends, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In
we have
fact,
that in common.
Mike is a goal guy of mine, a goal friend. That's how I first met Mike.
I know.
And so goal was
him coming to the city is how I got hired at Goal.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I inherited Mike at the city, but I knew Mike originally from Goal. And so now I get to, work collaboratively again because we've done so much heavy lifting together in the past. Now we're doing heavy lifting again.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what we do here.
The best relationships are forged in the trenches, and there are no greater trenches than schlepping wet sandbags at like 3 a.m. and hauling barricades and garbage juice.
Or the time, and anybody watching or listening, I'm looking over at Mike McBride behind the camera. He's pushing all the buttons for us today. And do you remember the time we were doing the Hurt in the Dirt? And it must have been, I don't know, it was well after midnight, I'm sure. And we were down at Fort Ventura, and we were picking up all the trash. And I remember I had to get a big garbage bag full of garbage up into the dumpster, and I went to throw it up there, and it broke, and all of the
garbage juice,
the garbage juice just drenched me.
Oh yeah.
And I swear Mike was there when that happened.
I'm sure, and he probably laughed at you.
He's cracking up, trying to stay quiet.
Like,
but those are the experiences that build friendships.
Oh yeah, 100%. Right? Yeah.
And they all just gave me a bunch of heat about it, made fun of me, and I had to live in that juice until we were done.
Yeah, you do.
But that's the work that it takes. That's literally the rolling up the sleeves and doing the hard work, right?
Yep.
But that's what connects us too.
That's what makes it special here.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Goal Foundation is what really brought Janie and I in touch with Ogden as well.
Oh, I love that. Yep.
It was back then. It was just such a work-oriented board and organization. And it still is.
Yeah.
But they're a lot more mature now and have
they've
amazing
grown
staff
up,
like
and
you.
They have the governance and
there's governance and a fiduciary role, and then there's
Yeah.
the implementation and execution roles, and they have a full-time staff now, and they're just an incredibly professional group.
That's amazing.
But there was a day where
it wasn't like
in
that.
fact, my predecessor, Mayor Caldwell, was really involved in organizing and founding the thing. And so we just sort of all pick up where we were, and you build things. We built the Goal Foundation, built the marathon, built our reputation, built our Olympic legacy, right?
Yep.
So, but now you're building something even more fun. Or a new adventure, I should say, right?
I know that roll up your sleeves. I love. I always kind of coin myself as like a builder. Like I love to build and grow things, and now I get to build and grow at the Dinosaur Park.
That's right.
It's not something that was on my radar. Just like living in Utah, definitely not on my radar. Wasn't on my life plan, but it was the greatest decision we ever made. And leaving McKay-Dee to go to the Dinosaur Park was not on my plan, but being an executive director and building an organization was on my plan. So it has been a riot over there.
so the Dinosaur Park, it's a partnership with the city.
With the city, I know.
So we own the property, and you guys kind of run the whole thing for us. But when they were looking for an executive director, of course, every time that happens, word goes out. We're looking for an amazing person. Someone with skill and drive and cares deeply, and bam, next thing you know,
I know.
Sara Mejeur's applying. Hey, Sarah's name's in the mix. It's like,
you need to apply for this. And I'm like, are you sure? Dinosaur Park? Like what?
What do you know about dinosaurs? And it's like, you'll
I
figure
don't
it
know
out.
Anything, but I'm like, well, tell me what you need. And they're like, we need a stronger community connection. We need fundraising. We need to kind of shift into that governance. Like you were just talking about with Goal, like they grew up and needed to kind of separate the board into more governance and let the staff be operational, and that's what we're going through there. So I keep
Oh, wow.
flashing back to like hearing about how Goal went through that,
Yep.
and other organizations have gone through that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like
That is
all
perfect.
my favorite things.
That
So,
is perfect.
Yeah.
But so the way everybody started calling you and saying you should apply,
Yeah.
that speaks to you and your skill, right?
Yeah.
That you're the kind of person that does the pick and shovel work.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an organization that is deeply
need
important to our community,
Yeah.
and it needs someone to lead it and
Yep.
do some pick and shovel work
Yeah.
to continue bettering it, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
the organization certainly wasn't broken.
No. Oh,
It's just that
absolutely not.
it's just that we
They're
have
just
these
ready for
organizations
this.
that are on their
On their growth.
evolutionary
Yeah.
trajectory,
Yep.
right? And I feel that way here in particular.
Yeah.
Is a lot of amazing work's been done by my
Oh, for sure.
predecessors, and there's always more.
Always.
And the
more.
mayor after me, I hope he or she picks
He-
up the ball and just
Yeah.
carries it further.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's community building, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're so thankful that you're there.
Love it. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Already
Yeah.
hear amazing things. Are
Yeah.
you enjoying it?
Oh yeah, I love it. 2 months in, and I'm like, oh my gosh. When I look back over my list of like things we've gotten done, things that are still on the horizon, like, oh, it's exciting. It's so
Good.
fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you ever look at all the things that are still on your plate
Mhm.
and be like, oh my gosh, are we ever going to get any of this done?
Oh, no.
But then you
I'm
look
still in the
back.
hopeful. I'm still in the hopeful where I'm like, but yeah, I get.
You
what
should be
you're
hopeful.
saying.
No, you should
Yeah.
totally be hopeful. But my CAO, Mara Brown,
Mhm. Love her.
she uses the word reflect.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes she knows I'm a hard charger. I'm like, always go.
Go,
And
go.
she's like, hey,
Take a minute.
take a breath and reflect for a minute. And then she'll
Yeah.
remind us of the things that we've done. And it's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. And
We have
that is
done a
such a
lot.
good point, because I'm the same way. Like, I always am looking at what's next, Like, definitely, because I'm a builder, I like to grow.
Yep.
And so, and I wish I could remember who told me to do this so that I could thank them. But someone, when I was taking on this new role, said each week on Friday, just in a Word doc, just write down all the things you did that week. Just reflect on what you did. That way it makes it really easy for your board report each month. You have something to pull from.
There you go.
And then also, as somebody who is like, what's next, you take that moment to reflect on what you already did so that you can feel proud and not be so antsy about what you haven't done yet. So I've been doing that, which has been awesome.
That's amazing
because
advice.
Otherwise, I'd be fixated on what I haven't done yet.
Is that your way of trying to tell me something?
Maybe you could do that too.
Actually, a mentor of mine, we were eating tacos one day, and he said, Mayor, you really ought to be writing things down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it wasn't because of like all of the things we accomplished.
Yeah.
It was more like all of the things that I'm experiencing.
Yeah. That too.
Because it's the pressure and the grind and the weight and the stress,
Yeah.
but also the fulfillment and
Yeah.
just the way you feel about the work that we're doing when it's this closely aligned with our purpose, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
And so he's like, you should be writing these things down. So I actually do that.
Oh, good job.
And I have a notebook that's leather bound that sits on my desk that I write in. Well, I used to keep just daily notes for my work notes,
Yeah.
but now I'm keeping more regular notes around my experience. And
Oh, I love that.
because there's like spiritual experiences when you have this job in particular,
Oh, I'm sure.
you have really high highs and really low lows, and then, but even everything in between is quite high because it's so fulfilling here, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's my advice, I guess.
I love it.
So I'm going to start using yours.
So instead of just tasks, I focus on like, sent this email, updated this thing, like found some savings,
Yeah.
got this grant, those kinds of things.
if
So
I
maybe
did-
I can
if-
reflect on more of like the things that kind of touch my heart too, instead of just reflecting on the tasks.
Helps me.
Yeah.
Actually, the thing I find it helps me the most is it helps me focus on the good and not the bad.
Yep.
There's lots of lows
Mhm.
that I could really
Oh yeah.
dwell on.
Yep.
But they're not even that low. It's just like,
In comparison.
it's just pressure and
Yeah.
stress, right?
Yeah.
But there's so many amazing things to focus on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So tell us about some of the amazing things that you guys are focused on at the Dinosaur Park.
Oh my gosh. So one of the amazing things here on the horizon, probably in the next month and a half, is that we're renovating our playground. And so it's all demoed right now, and we're putting in an all abilities playground.
Right.
So I'm really excited. We did keep the legacy pieces, so anyone who's listening is like, but what about the turtle or what about the skull? We have it. It's still in the park. Those pieces where people have their childhood memories and photos.
Gotcha.
We still have those in the park. And the tree, everyone's been asking me about, but what about the tree? Because the tree slide is beloved here. It's going to be even bigger and better. So the focal point of it is still a big tree slide. But we have like zip lines and just like all kinds of cool stuff. Little workspaces, which I will be taking advantage of. Take my laptop out there and sit under some shade and,
That'll
do
be
those
nice.
things outside in the fresh air. And so that's one of the big things coming up that we're pretty excited about.
So the All Abilities Playground, that's phase 1?
That is phase
that you're
1.
working on right now, right?
Yes.
And there's another phase 2 coming in the works, right?
Yes, thank you, Ogden City.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ogden City.
Right?
With some great help from our partners at Ogden City. We will have a phase 2 down the line, which will be the more public facing, right? So it'll be more open to the public versus this one is within the park bounds. So you need your membership or to pay to enter, or you can come on a ramp day. We have ramp days coming up where you can come for free. So we'll advertise those and make sure the city can share those out for us too. But phase 2 will be the public open all abilities
Awesome.
playground. Yeah.
So we are when we were discussing that, there's a need.
Yeah.
No question. And there's a need for a partner to help us.
Yep.
Some of our parks have vandalism in certain times of the year and so on, and this is going to be such an important investment that we need help protecting it. And a partnership like the Dino Park is going to be really perfect.
Yeah.
And so
Really cool.
the entry fees are really reasonable. They're affordable.
yeah.
There's lots of opportunities for free entry. We've even done events there with our police department for Community Day, and we can bring lots of people into the park and use that.
That's awesome.
Phase 1, but also coming for phase 2 will be.
Because
it was important to us that if we have an all abilities playground, that we have
all
everybody with all
has
abilities
access.
has the ability to access it. So
absolutely.
So thanks for embracing that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Looking
about
forward to more to come on that.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that really drew me to this opportunity too, was just all the room for growth. Like, I will never stop building. Like, I'll never.
Yeah, it's true.
It's cool. Like the plans that are in place, and like our education director Jeff, his brilliant mind has like the next 10 years mapped out, which I'm here for it. It's gonna be cool.
And that dude's got ideas and he's got energy.
Ooh,
and
it's pretty cool.
He is passionate, and he strikes me as someone that's aligned with his purpose.
Oh yeah.
Like he
100%.
must be
100%.
to feel the way he does when he does his work.
Yeah.
You can just see it,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
There's got to be a lot of that over there when you're at work.
It's really cool. Yeah.
So, how about for Sara? What's something Sarah's working on for Sara?
Oh, that's a good question.
I know. Surprise.
Working on Sara is what Sarah's working on, because since we moved here to Ogden, I feel like I've been on just like grow, because part of my, I guess my dream or my career path is that I knew I wanted to get into the nonprofit world, but before we moved here, I didn't know how, right? I didn't have the opportunities. Like here, oh my gosh, in Ogden, there's hundreds of nonprofits, but when we've lived other places, it really wasn't a part of the community. It wasn't a part of the culture. And so the fact that I got to work for a nonprofit like straight out the gate and get immersed in that was like a dream come true that I didn't know I needed. And then I have this oracle of that guy behind the mic who was like, oh, you're finishing your going back to Mike again. I was finishing up my my bachelor's in leadership, and he was like, you know what you should do next? You need an MPA. And I was like, what's an MPA? And he said, it's a Master's of Public Administration. And I was like, well, let me look into that. Sure enough, I was like, oh my gosh, I will love all of those classes. And so I finished that up a couple years ago, just had a time hop of that. I finished that 2 years ago. And at the same time, though, then I had started a new job. And so when you start a new job, like for me, oh my gosh, I get immersed in that, right? And so I kind of lost myself, didn't lose myself, but wasn't really focused on me. I was focused on the job. And so then I'm kind of finding myself here again. But Dinosaur Park there's a lot to focus on, but I feel like I can relax a little bit and be like, oh, remember when I used to trail run? Remember when I used to do that?
You're right there.
I used to love yoga. Remember when I used to do those things when I didn't have school, and all those other things consuming my time. So I'm kind of excited about that. And actually our education director, there's a few things we have in common, which is funny to like have things in common with the paleontologist, because I'm like, I didn't realize that I could have things in common with the paleontologist. But one of the things that he reminded me of, so he writes all the time, like he writes poetry, and I'm like, I used to love to write. Like that was my favorite thing. I used to always write all the time. And I've stopped making time for that, aside from like all the emails I write or grants that I write, but like writing for fun. So I look forward to kind of like, it's inspired me to get back to things I used to love.
Well,
which is cool.
It's a really good environment actually over there. If you wanted to trail run and do yoga, it's right there.
I just walk out the door.
Right? I mean, even getting back to goal.
Oh, yeah.
When I was there, we built that. Actually, Jeff Furton was really involved in that project specifically.
Yeah.
Was building the stations, the fitness stations around the park.
Deep Park.
Right across the way. The Ogden River's right there if you ever wanted to fish or if you were into kayaking.
They're redoing the parkway. It's going to be so smooth and luxurious right now.
That's right. Actually, currently it's right
now.
Under construction right now.
But, yeah.
What is it about poetry that you love? I'm curious.
You know what? When I was younger, it was just a way to like express and get like feelings out. But I think if I get back into it now, I like the rules, like having it constrained, because sometimes, I don't know, free flow writing is like kind of hard. I don't know. I just like the rhyming too. Like I think I love the rhyme scheme or the parameters. It's like a little puzzle to try to fit your thoughts into certain syllables or into a certain rhyme scheme or
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I find that for me, I do things that, bring me joy and peace. One of the most important things for me is exercise.
Yeah.
Like I feel totally different and feel better when I exercise. And so for me, when I come to work, it's important that I come to work with the right energy and in the right mood and mindset. There are days where I don't.
Yeah.
And man, does it cause challenges for people around me,
Yeah. Yep.
So I would have to think that poetry helps with that. Does it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure. Like that's how it used to just calm my mind or like release things like negative thoughts or hard feelings or just kind of working through things. So yeah, I'm excited to get back to doing that, or just appreciating the world around you, or taking time, because you have to sit and really think about it. Like you can't write poetry or write like that real quick in 5 minutes. It's something that you have to sit and reflect on and have quiet time for. And I don't always get a lot of quiet time. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to make time for quiet and for thinking and reflecting.
So what do you want to talk about while we're here?
Ooh.
Is there anything you want to talk about?
It was funny when I was sitting here and thinking about, and I watched some of your other podcasts, like I watched the Ogden Made one. Love that brand. Love Josh. I feel like Ogden has made me, right? And so I'm like, oh, and he's on my list to talk to you about having some cool Dinosaur Park merch. So anyway.
Oh, perfect. Right?
I know. So, but when I was thinking about that, I was just thinking about how I hoped I got to talk about how Ogden has made me, or just having that opportunity. And so when you were asking, like, how did you feel when you moved here? How did that go? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like.
So how has Ogden made you?
Oh, man, it just gave me the opportunity to jump in and take ownership of things, right? I was talking about this earlier before you got here, that a couple years ago, I interviewed for a leadership role outside of Ogden Weber. And one of the questions, or maybe like a statement that someone made, was like, well, we're not like Ogden here. We're not all kumbaya. Like, you have to earn your way in. You can't just show up. And I was like.
Really? They just said it?
Uh-huh. And I was like, I love that Ogden has the reputation that we're kumbaya up here, and that you can just show up and be a part of it.
And get to work.
Because that's what I love. Like, I love that we can move here from out of town. We can show up to an event and instantly had a group of friends that are still my friends today. From over 7 years ago, day one, the very first thing we went to, those are still my friends.
Right. And
that's what I love about Ogden, is if you show up, and you can't just show up. Like, I love the people that, like, sometimes they just show up and take a selfie and, oh, I did the thing. There's people like that.
That's not really the Ogden way.
That's not the Ogden way, right? The Ogden way is you show up, you roll up your sleeves, they hand you a shovel, and you're in, right?
Correct.
Like, that's what it takes to be in Ogden, is that we don't complain about things. we make it better, right? And that's kind of always just been who I am. Like if I see a problem, I work to fix
Oh my
it.
gosh.
And so I'm like, these are my people. I didn't know my people were living in Ogden, Utah, because I've never been someone who wants to sit and wallow in the negativity. I'm somebody who's like, oh, there's a problem. Let's fix it. Like, what can we do? Like, let's move forward. And so I love that that's how everyone, well, not everyone, but that's how the majority of this community feels and what they do, and how 90,000 people can feel like a small town of 5,000.
I love everything you say. I just do. It resonates with me. And I think I guess for people that are watching this, if anybody outside of Ogden does, if they were to watch it, they would be like, meh. Like, I don't even know if it would resonate with them because they don't live here and they're not a part of it. But I've become so accustomed to it here because I've been here so long.
This is what we do.
That I actually notice it the most when I leave.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I go like, somewhere else, it's like,
we're not in Ogden. Like,
no.
This is not.
Right?
Oh.
It's crazy. And I think that we have something that no one else has. I think it's our competitive advantage. It's our uniqueness, right?
Special sauce.
It is our special sauce.
It is.
But I loved how they said we're not like Ogden.
We're not like Ogden.
You got to earn your way.
You got to earn your way.
Like, you still have to.
Like,
you still have to earn your keep around here.
You
like
do.
you have to earn, but
you can't just show up. I mean, you have to show up. First you show up and then you roll up your sleeve. Right?
But see, that's the point of what the reflection that I got when you shared that comment was, oh, so they don't think that we have to work for what we have?
Yeah, like we're not just all kumbaya.
But the kumbaya happens because of the work.
Because we work together.
That's the point. And I think that's what other people miss in other towns.
Yeah.
Is they're like, oh, you can't just show up and you get to skyrocket at the top. It's like, no, we're not skyrocketing to the top out of nowhere.
No, we're climbing.
We are climbing and grinding. We're grinding and we're loving the grind.
Yeah.
We embrace the grind. We want to reduce barriers for people so that we're not a grind on others. But at the same time, we don't shy away from work.
From that.
Yep. Right?
Exactly.
We learn to love the grind, love the work, lean into it.
Yep.
And then every day you work, you're that much closer to your greatness, you know?
Exactly.
So the grind gets you to your greatness.
It does. I love it.
That's Ogden.
It is.
It's the Ogden way.
It is the Ogden way. I'm like, I love this. Yeah. That's awesome.
So during the grind, are you feeling Ogden made? Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that when that person said that to me, all of a sudden it just made me realize, I'm like, okay, this is a position, like it was a cool role, but I'm like, but if I'm going to spend all the time to invest in an organization, into people, and I know how much time that takes, and I know how much time I put into things, I'm like, then I want to do it in a community that I love,
for sure.
that wants that, like that wants that kind of growth, right? That embraces that kind of change and growth. And so I was like, okay, I can't dedicate myself. I mean, not that I couldn't, like I could have, right? I could have, but
not ideally.
Right. And so we get one life. And so I'm like, if I'm going to invest my time and energy, I'm going to do it in my community. So
when I first came here, I told my parents, I flew to Bozeman, Montana and did a football recruiting visit there.
Yeah.
And before I went out, the schedule was I was going to go to Bozeman, then fly to Weber State here in Ogden, and then go to Pocatello for Idaho State, and then go home and make a decision. But those were my three finalists. And I had made a decision before I left. I'm going to Montana State.
Yep.
Had my major, had a winning football team, had the history, better uniforms, nice locker room, like all the things, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And but then I flew to Ogden, and I was like, wow, I don't know what it is here, but I sure like being here. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't have my major, just almost about dropped their football program.
Yeah.
Like they had to fight to keep it barely.
Yep.
There was no money, no locker room. The weight room was tiny, sponsored by Pony. Who does that?
I don't even know that. I was listening to this story on your one. I was like, what's Pony?
Right?
Yeah. I was like, I don't even know.
Did I share that one with the Ogden Made episode?
With Josh, yeah. Okay. I was like, oh,
but I felt like I just went home and told my mom, I didn't even go to Idaho State.
Yeah.
I'm like I don't know why. I just felt like that's where I need to be.
Yeah.
And it just keeps reinforcing itself. Like when you come here, you feel that way. And I hear that in this job all the time from people that come from out of town to guest lecture or to work from out of town or whatever in the aerospace industry, coming from out of country.
Yeah.
They're like, this place is so kind. Students up at Weber State. I had lunch with a student from Nepal, and he said, Mayor, I have never been anywhere in the world that is more embracing and welcoming and supportive and helpful than the people here in Ogden.
I know, we put Midwest nice to shame.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
We're not just nice for nice sake.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I feel blessed to get to live in a place like this, and blessed that I get to live with a place with people like you.
Yeah.
So I got to ask the question. We don't usually take live questions, but we're getting one that's coming in. All of the listeners and viewers, there's millions of them out there. They all want me to ask this.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
They want to know, does your hair always match your outfit?
When I wear this blazer, yes.
Okay.
I know, yeah, it does.
All right.
When
Well,
I wear this.
so like,
I know,
like
sometimes
once a
I
week
look
or so.
really coordinated. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, got my lip gloss, my all of it, just all pink today.
Like, so once every week or two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And now we put the Ogden's burning question to rest. So you're a mother of two? Three. Mother of three.
Yeah, 3. Mm-hmm.
How do your kids feel about Ogden? Do they love being raised here?
Yeah, they do. And that's what I love is that, like, we feel like we're from Ogden. Like, we claim to be Ogdenites. Like, when we travel, people are like, oh, where are you from? We say Ogden. I don't typically say, like, Utah. I say Ogden.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's in Utah. But we moved here a little over 7 years ago. So our kids were 2, 7, and 9. And so essentially, like, they are Ogdenites, right? Especially, like, our youngest. He doesn't really remember much outside of that. And so I love that, like, this is where they get to grow up. This is what they get to claim.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just normal. Like, of course we have a mountain bike team. Of course I went to mountain bike camp. Of course I did rock climbing camp. Like,
of course I have Goal Gals. Of course I have pub runners.
Yeah, like, of course we do all these things together. And that's the cool thing about here, too, is there's just so much to do. Like, growing up in a small town, I was just joking. I think I was at the airport joking with someone about, like, small towns versus, like, here. Actually, no, I know exactly where I was. I was on 25th Street talking to people that were moving here from Texas. And I was like, oh, you're never going to be bored here. I'm like, let me tell you what. I'm like, this whole street shuts down. Like, I was telling them about all the things. And I'm like, man, I grew up in a small town where the fun thing to do was to go out in a field, like field parties, barn parties, things like that. I'm like, our kids grew up with climbing camp and mountain bike and trail running and festivals and farmers markets and all the cool things that are here. Sometimes it's overwhelming how many things there are to do, which is a good problem to have.
I know. It's like if you're bored in Ogden, it's kind of
your fault. That's exactly what I said. I'm like, if anyone was ever like, oh, there's nothing to do, I'm like, that is your fault because just look around. There's
I was all hesitant to say it. And you're like, yeah, it's your fault.
That's exactly what I said. I'm like, it's your fault if you're bored.
Right. So last night I was at a basketball game.
Yeah.
And I ran into a mom and dad that are, parents of one of the kids that our daughters have played alongside for years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she went to a middle school in the Weber district for the last year.
Yep.
And they were just telling me, they're like, oh my gosh, like, it's an amazing school. We're talking about how nice the facilities are and all that stuff, right? But they're like, we're bringing her back and it just feels so right. And they said it just like, the way they explained it was like, it felt real to be back around their people,
Yeah.
And then they go out on the court and you just see all these kids from all these backgrounds in different places and they're hugging each other and high-fiving each other. And you're like, this is real. This is America. It's Americana. That's part of why I like to say Ogden, USA. I really feel like we represent the United States of America in who we are.
I love that. And that's how we actually came to choose Ogden, even though it was too big for us, is that we met someone. We were out having like our HGTV moment where we had all of our listings out and we're having dinner and a glass of wine and we're talking about our listings. And the person who was working there was like, oh, tell me about your family. What is your priorities? Like, what are you hoping to find? And we told her, and she was like, you want to live in Ogden? And we're like, oh, it's too big. She's like, no, you want to live in Ogden. She's like, it's the most diverse. Like, your kids will be included. Like, you walk down the street and people are happy to see you and they'll say hi to you and they'll smile at you. And she's like, this is really where you want to be. Like, and she told us to go up on the bench and like, she goes, walk on 26th Street, walk up the hill. Like, the birds will be chirping, the sun will be shining. Like, and she was right. And we're like, what the heck? Like, I'm so glad that we had that conversation with her because not to say that any of the other small towns around here wouldn't have been as great, but we definitely wouldn't have been as happy. We probably would have moved on a couple of years ago versus being like, nope, this is it. We're, Ogden is home.
I almost hope, I don't know, I get mixed feelings for my daughters. I almost hope that they go outside of Ogden for a little while, but then come back.
100%. Because you got to go out to appreciate it, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lose them for a little while.
Yeah.
And I hope they come back.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things when I was on the football team, there's, I played with hundreds of guys from all over the country.
Yeah.
But, at that age, you might look at Ogden in from one perspective
100%.
versus what we do now as parents,
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think I hear it from young people when they're from Ogden too. They're like, one day I'm going to leave Ogden, but you always hear that they do leave and then they are like, I didn't know how good I had it.
Mm-hmm.
And they come back.
Yep.
And that happened a lot with my teammates. They came here from all over North America and actually lots of teammates for Janie in Europe and so on. And they'd come here and then they'd leave and then they'd come back because they've been everywhere and they've seen it all and they're like, this is where it's at.
Okay.
Ogden's where it's at.
This is where we want
And it's
to be.
these things that we're talking about.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like that make Ogden great.
Yep.
The growth mindset you mentioned, that's a huge component of the Ogden Way. It's what we talk about internally all the time. We're never done getting better, right?
That continuous improvement. I love that.
And it's this togetherness, this service spirit, right? It's about collaboration and it's about helping to take accountability for ourselves and lift others, right? These are all components of the Ogden Way and it's what make us great. And we can't be who we are without help from nonprofits.
Yep.
Your nonprofit actually is a really good example because we have that cooperative agreement for so many years.
Yeah.
That you're an entire arm, an organization in and of itself, independent of us, but connected to us through the agreement.
Yeah.
Educating youth, right?
Yep.
And preserving history and providing opportunity and access and for recreation, etc.
Yeah.
With us.
Yep.
And so we're able to expand ourselves and expand our offering as a city, corporation,
so cool.
with and through you.
Yep.
And that's actually an important part of the Ogden Way is the framework of the 7 pillars of human success. And as we look at each of those pillars, there are certain things in those pillars that the city must do that we are constitutionally mandated. That is our responsibility to do, like police and fire.
Yep.
But there's other services that are really important for the success of our people that the city doesn't do or maybe shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And so it's really...
Where you can partner with somebody who does it best.
Right.
We talk about that a lot.
But you'd mentioned you don't have a lot of nonprofits in your old community, and we have hundreds of them here.
Hundreds.
That's hundreds of opportunities to engage private partnerships to fulfill the mission of our city and our community as a whole. And that also is the Ogden Way. And so we don't just collaborate with one another.
I love it.
We collaborate with organizations and anchor institutions.
Yeah.
And if we all are going in the same direction, working on the same things to help people lift and rise, right?
Yep.
This community and these people, we're going to level up.
Yep.
And and it's not going to be easy. Not individually, not collectively.
I don't like it when it's easy, apparently. I'm like, that sounds really hard. Let's do it.
Right?
I'm like, awesome.
I love misery.
I do. I love it. I love it.
But that's why we had you today. You embody, you live, you love, and you serve the Ogden Way. And it's the collection of all of the Sara Mejeurs in Ogden that make us who we are. And so thanks for everything you do to be you, to make sure your hair matches your jacket.
Perfect.
but you are a special person, and we are a special part of Ogden. And we're only special because of our people. And so thanks for coming to Ogden, bringing your family to be with us, and embracing the fabric of who we are, just like everybody else. Mixing with Josh from the Ogden Maid and everybody just like Josh, who was born and raised here.
Yep.
I
loved hearing his
made
story.
the Ogden Way, right?
Yep.
Mixed with Sara Mejeur, who comes here and is now Ogden Maid. That's Ogden.
It's kind of cool.
I mean, how lucky are we, right?
I know. So lucky.
I know. We're so lucky.
I love it.
So before we go, we always like to kind of have a call to action. But I know what I want it to be. Do you have any ideas for what a good call to action would be?
So many. I feel like if you haven't found your nonprofit or your way to serve or show up, or you've been nervous to roll up your sleeves, to to reach out and find someone. And if you don't know, talk to me. I'm a very good connector. I probably can ask you a couple questions and direct you in the right spot. But yeah, find somewhere to roll up your sleeves.
So when you say you're a good connector, do you know how important that is? We find that with all of the resources and opportunities that are out there in this city, that most people are not aware of them all. Not even close.
Yeah, I probably don't even know them all, but
neither do
I know of enough. And if I don't know, then I know who knows.
Right?
Yeah.
That's actually a really salient point. We need to be connectors for each other and with each other.
Yep.
If we are aware of opportunities and you know somebody that's looking for that opportunity, connect them.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
If you know somebody that's struggling or having a hard time in something and you know of a resource that exists in the city that they don't know about, connect them. Right?
Yep.
Like,
absolutely.
If someone wants to serve and is just looking to be a bigger part of our city, and you see a shovel that needs lifting, connect him.
I love that.
Right?
See a shovel that needs lifting.
Right?
I love that.
It's like,
I love it. Here you go.
Every shovel needs somebody on the business end of it, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I love that.
If you see soft hands and they need calluses,
they need some calluses.
Connect them, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So how about that for our call to action?
I like that call for action.
So if you want to give, if you want to serve, and you want to be a bigger part of Ogden, and you want to be Ogden made and live in the Ogden way, reach out to an organization, find a way to volunteer. If you want to do it in your work, reach out and talk to somebody, find out how, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
And if you know somebody that wants to do that, connect them with that opportunity. If we have more people doing that, because every single time we connect somebody with one of those things, it helps them, it betters them, strengthens them, right? And that's the way that everybody levels up.
Absolutely.
When you level up, right?
I love it.
Ogden gets better.
It does.
Okay. Well, thanks for being with us today, Sara.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being Ogden made.
Very painless. Yeah.
Thanks for living in the Ogden way.
I know. Thank you.
Okay. Until next time, thank you, Sara Mejeur, and thank you, Ogden. Thanks for living and embodying the Ogden way.